Hey there, I'm Marina Ormes, the founder of Astrology Heals at astrologyheals.com, here today on Sunday, August 7th, to share with you my thoughts on is the law of attraction real and how to make what you want happen by manifesting with moon cycles. Some big topics here, but these are really topics that are underlying everything I talk about. When I talk about self-care, it's really the same idea. It's taking care of yourself and getting what you need so that you can have positive thoughts, so that you can support your emotional process, and so that you can take the actions you need to take from a place of inspiration and energy that are going to get you where you want to be and that support your creativity. And I talk about aligned manifestation in my book. This is my book. It's got bookmarks in it because I want to remember where the pages are. But here is the page. This is page 29, where the Ormes method of transformational astrology these are the three pillars, and the three pillars are whole self wellness, which is wellness in mind, body, spirit, and emotion, and aligned manifestation, which is working with mindset, self-care, action, and feelings to get what you want, and the astrology of potential, which is actualizing these things through the air, earth, fire, and water elements of astrology that show up in different ways through the planets and the signs and the moon sign and all the things that we're talking about from one day to the next here. So we've got these three pillars. Aligned manifestation is the pillar that talks about how to get from where we are to what it is we want to create. And we do that by being in alignment, and there's nothing magic about it. You may have seen some of those videos that came out in the 90s about I think it was the 90s, maybe it was the 2000s, I don't know. They came out about the law of attraction, and how it was like this great revelation that if you have positive thoughts, you can create the things that you want. And it was just kind of exciting, but also oversimplifying how that process works. It says, well, as long as you have positive thoughts, positive things are going to happen. And what astrology helps us understand is why it's more complicated than that, and how those more complicated pieces can be worked with on purpose to get it all working for us to create the things that we want that are important to us. And that is why and how I am able to say, hey, really don't need to have a perspective of doom or giving up, right? Because we haven't gotten to the future yet. I mean, when maybe there's a point in life when you know that you're dying, and you know that it really is over, and that might be might be appropriate to have a different approach in that moment, to an approach of surrender, of acceptance, of letting go, but that's not where we are in our collective process of the problems that we have in the world. There certainly is a lot that has changed, and some things we can't get back, like species extinctions and some climate change problems that have already happened and things like that. However, if we gave up now, it would mean that so much that we still can do and still can create out of where we are in this moment in time, we would give up. And that's not our highest potential. It's not what we came here to do. So what did we come here to do? We came here to learn how to be effective, how to be creative, how to find happiness, how to take care of ourselves, and how to live life in a way where it becomes a constant journey of discovery and learning. And it's perfect timing with the moon in Sagittarius today to be talking about this bigger picture, and what it is we can imagine and envision for the future. So, aligned manifestation is when we get all the parts, the mind, the body, the spirit, the emotion, all the parts working to support the outcome that we want. So, and I talk a lot about intentions. It all begins with the intentions. We start with a statement of what we want, of what's important to us. And sometimes that statement, that intention has to evolve as we learn more. But start with something. Start with something that feels good. Start with something you can get behind, something you want, good health, completion of a project, a feeling in your relationship of camaraderie and love, of support. What is something you want? That is what you want to start with as an intention. For the world, I would say, it's a feeling of people working together. It's a feeling of inspiration. It's a feeling of creating new systems, a feeling of inclusiveness, of things that work better for all people, that feeling of bringing our systems into the modern world to address modern problems. Those are things that we haven't had before, so we don't have that model for how to create a world that can address problems that are created by social media, problems that are created by climate change. It's hard to imagine those because these are things that really have only come into collective awareness in recent decades, even though they were there before. But and our lots of people in history have gone before us and done amazing things to help us to be where we are in many positive ways. So what you want to do is start with that intention, what it is you want. That, again, you might have to imagine it because it might be something that you haven't experienced yet or you don't have a model for, but get creative. That's what you have an imagination for. That's what we have Neptune in Pisces for, is this several years time period of expanded ability to imagine. So we certainly have an expanded ability to get lost and to deal with confusion and misinformation and disinformation and lies and all that stuff. That's one part of Neptune in Pisces. But the other part of Neptune in Pisces is truly an expanded ability to imagine. So let yourself have that, take some time to journal or draw a picture or sit under a tree and just imagine, dream, have a dream of what the future could look like. And your critical mind is going to jump in and say, oh, you can't have that they'll never let that, this will never fly. All those things are going to come up. That is not welcome while you're dreaming, right? So let yourself have the dream, because this is opening yourself to this manifestation process. And so the manifestation process, again, there are a lot of complexities to it. So once you have the dream, the vision, the intention, you are going to then integrate into your daily life things that make that happen, things that are in alignment. So what can be in alignment? Our thoughts are a big one, and that's the air component of the elements. Air and thoughts are something that we go really unconscious around, how we are thinking about things, where we feel like they're not possible, right? Where we shut down possibility through thinking, oh, that can never happen, or, I don't have control over that. I just have to wait for somebody to figure that out, and I have no power. But when you start thinking, hey, I could imagine, I could suggest, I could reframe. I could say to my neighbor when I run into them at the grocery store, yeah, you're right. That does look bad, but but we've seen things change before, and I wonder how this is going to go. And I wonder if there's anything we could do to contribute to having it go the way we want it to go. Just some small things about the way that you think about things, the way you talk about things. Look at conversations you have with friends. Do you end up getting into spiraling into why things are so horrible? Just look at some of those patterns, right? If you're a person who finds yourself in certain relationships doing that, can you just shake that up a little? How can you interrupt that pattern and say, that's a lot of negative stuff, but there's some positive things too. Or what about this? I read this in the news and I was really inspired isn't the word I'm thinking of, but I'll put that in there because that's all I can think of right now. I'm feeling hopeful about this, and this gave me some. This made me feel good to read this, right? And so, some of the things that happened in the news, even this week, the surprising results with Kansas turning down a vote to restrict abortion, and some of the things that are starting to unfold around prosecution, justice around January 6th, and some other things. So just without saying, oh, good, it's all going to be taken care of, now I can relax, right? That's not aligned. Think about what is going to be aligned. Aligned means that you are making choices for yourself that hold that outcome in possibility. Hold the outcome in possibility. So if you want a future where there is a new set of laws that works better for more people, then what kind of thoughts, what kind of conversations would you be having to support that? So that's the air mindset way that you would be in alignment. Other ways to be in alignment are through body, emotion, and spirit. So mind, body, emotion, and spirit. So body would be, how can you take care of your body so that you can show up and be positive and be present and be supportive and cheer people on, and do your part, whatever that may be. Supporting the candidates you want, volunteering, donating, showing up at work in a way where you can be an advocate for the things you want. So how do you need to take care of your body? Get plenty of sleep, good food, good nutrition, all the things that you need, and you don't have to be perfect. Alignment is simply a reminder that this is important. It's important. And so if all you can do is say, I'm going to take this evening off and give myself that time, that downtime that I need to rest and recuperate, just do that. Do what you can do. Think about the small baby steps that are positive, and that is alignment. Alignment is not perfect. Alignment is about taking the small baby steps that hold open that possibility of the outcome you want. So take self-care is good for body, also taking care of the earth, animals, people you love, gardens, caring about your community. Those are all good physical body types of things, even if they're not for your body. So that's mind and body. And then also we want to support spirit. And spirit can mean like spiritual energy, but it also means the energy to move. And so spirit is really about fire energy. It's about movement, about action, about taking action, picking up the phone to make that phone call to your representative, or calling out that coworker, or speaking up, or saying something that is from your heart. And again, there's not only one way to do this. It's about making small shifts within yourself that affirm that you are holding that possibility of the outcome you want. And so what do you need to do? And if you notice in your day an opportunity came up and you were too scared to speak up, or you were too nervous about what would happen, and you didn't in that moment, you still have the ability to reflect on that, to go, why, why didn't I? Why did I feel scared? Get curious. What was going on there? What could I have done differently? How might I want to talk to myself so that I can see other possibilities in the future? What is what is something I could have said? Right? So sometimes we think that we have to be all or nothing, but sometimes there might be a smaller way to do something that pushes your comfort zone, but is also doable for you. And that's the key. It's doable, baby steps, keep going, keep learning, keep growing from where you are at. And that's the action part. That's fire, that's spirit. So taking action, do something, even small action. What can you do every day to take action to support what you want? And again, it might be in the world, but it also might be in your own life. What is it? What do you need to do to make that happen? What are you avoiding doing? Is there some action that you need to take, or somewhere you might be getting stuck that you could support yourself to move through to take that action? So, and then the last one is water, and that is emotion, and working with our emotions. And aligned manifestation in dealing with the emotional part has to do with our emotional process and letting ourselves feel and supporting ourselves in moving through the feelings that we have, doing the emotional process, feeling the grief, the pain, the rage, whatever it is, moving it through and supporting yourself to do that in a way that is healing, is caring, is supportive. And so that's the emotional piece, and also just working with the emotional energies you have, the feelings that you have about things, and putting that into your creative work, putting your emotion, your caring into creating the things that you want, and putting your feeling into it. Why do you care about that? Why is that important to you? So that's the emotional piece. And alignment on all of these levels, when we get the balance of having alignment with mind, body, spirit, and emotion, we keep taking the steps. You can work with the moon cycle to start with the new moon, setting your intentions, and then allowing this to unfold as you keep supporting yourself. You might notice that of the 4, mind, body, spirit, and emotion, there's one that is harder for you. Maybe there's one you're good at. So where do you need balance? What is it that needs more attention for you? And how can you bring balance to these 4 elements in supporting yourself with aligned manifestation? And as we go through the process of this manifestation, when you have this alignment, you are going to get some sort of results. So the universe gives you feedback in the form of circumstances, new developments, people telling you things happening. You see, oh, I made this choice and this thing happened. How am I learning from that thing that happened? What does it have to show you or teach you? How can you learn from it? How can you work with that energy to further your own growth, and support yourself in continuing down this path of manifestation? One of the biggest pitfalls when people start working on a path of aligned manifestation is they think that they have failed, right? So thinking that you have gotten to a certain landmark where you should have, accomplished ABC and it didn't work. Gosh darn it. The problem with that is that it's a learning process. And so maybe it did work. Maybe it's absolutely where you need to be. Maybe this is the thing coming to the surface that is showing you how to take the next step, what it is you need to learn or shift or get so that you can continue this path of manifestation. Maybe it's a longer term thing than you thought it would be. Maybe the result that you want will show up, but it won't be the form that you thought it would have. But in my experience doing this for almost 30 years now, I can say with confidence that it does happen. The manifestation results do come. And sometimes they look differently than you thought they would look in the beginning. But usually when that happens, it's like mind-blowingly better than you could have imagined. And that's the only reason why the outcome that you're experiencing isn't what you thought it was, is because you couldn't imagine anything that amazing. And so we human beings really tend to underestimate ourselves. And when you get this process working on purpose, with the mind, body, spirit, and emotion in alignment with what you want, amazing results are not only possible, but I've seen it in my own life and for my clients, and it's just really, really fun to discover. And we are doing this every day here at Astrology Heals with the Astrology of Unshakable Self-Care and through my books. So definitely check this out, Astrology Heals. It's available on Amazon. You can find it on my website, astrologyheals.com. You can learn more about aligned manifestation and how to support yourself. But also we're doing that here every day in our self-care videos. So just this past week, we had 3 self-care hacks for doing relationship work, some ideas for how to support yourself in that Libra moon relationship themes. And then we had 3 ways to bring more power into your creative work. So check that out. What to do when you feel moody, how to thrive in times of climate chaos, threats to democracy, and more. That was a week ago on Sunday, was that in-depth video. So there's just tons of great content here. If you've missed any, you might want to go back and check the titles and watch what looks interesting to you, because all of it is going to support you in this process of aligned manifestation. And when you subscribe, you get the videos every day that can help you know what the vibe of the day is, how to work with that energy, and how to use it to support the manifestation of your intentions. So again, law of attraction, it's not quite that simple. You don't just think positive and poof, it pops into reality. It can sometimes it works that way. But for the most part, what I find is that this process is actually asking us to learn more about ourselves. So if it were magical like that, there would be no point to be here and figure it out. And so it's like, having a really, really good puzzle that's filled with things you have to figure out. And that's what life is like. So what is the thing you're working on right now to try and figure out? And each day, the daily vibe video can help you with some tips on how to work with the energy of the day to approach the situations that you're working through in your life, and how you can step into more happiness to be more creative and sharing your light, shining your light with the world around you. Awesome, awesome. One last thought, and I know this has been a lot that I've been conveying here in this video, but one last image I want to leave you with, and that is, some of you may know that my daughter had black belt in Taekwondo and spent many years competing in power breaking, and just amazingly for her size and ability, just to bust through record breaking numbers of boards with her barefoot or her bare hand, and just amazing and very inspiring with what's possible when we're working with mind, body, emotion, and spirit. And that's definitely what the way that she was approaching those questions and challenges, right? The challenge of breaking something that feels impossible. And one of the things that she told me that really, really stuck with me about how to approach that, and what she had learned from her teachers, is or what I watched also as she was learning, and I was taking her to classes and so on. The people who and the mindset of aiming your foot at the board when you're trying to break it, you won't break it because you're trying to kick the board. You're already expecting the board to stop you. But when the mindset is that my foot is already on this other side of the board, and the point that you're aiming at is the point not at the board, but on the other side of the board you're trying to break, right? Then your foot goes right through it. I mean, looks easy. I can't do it. So, but anyway, the point was, like, as an aligned manifestation example is such a beautiful image, to focus on at what comes after. What is the result you want? Where do you find yourself? And imagine that moment of everything's broken, my foot's gone through, I'm fine, I'm not hurt, celebration, accomplishment, all that feeling of power. So how can we, as we're working with this manifestation process, how can we bring our focal point to that point after we have accomplished the thing we want? If we're looking at things in the collective and the political sphere, what does it look like to imagine ourselves, how we're celebrating, how we're reflecting, what we're thinking about after those things have been accomplished? Not looking at them as something that we're going to be eternally chasing, but thinking and imagining and dreaming for ourselves. What does it feel like when we're done, when we've accomplished that, and we have that feeling of celebration? So there's a lot of really potent information for you there. I hope you'll check out my book. And if you're looking for support in your own process, I'm here for, I have mini readings available on my website. I also have private consultations. I can work with you in depth in something that is going on in your own life and how to approach it. But thank you so much for being here. And yeah, stay tuned, because I'm working on a new book. I'm going to be fleshing out this process even more, about how to work with all the planets in your chart. But for now, we've got Astrology Heals. It's a wonderful introduction. We'll take you down a path of self-exploration that will unlock doors, I'm guessing. All right. Certainly has for me and for many other people. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with more videos and the vibe of the day. Thank you for watching. Check me out at astrologyheals.com, and be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see more. All right. See you next time. Bye for now.